Hello everyone, this is part 6 video on past year NEET questions from the topic equilibrium. Now those who are looking at this video can probably take a look at the other parts also so that you will have continuity. We will start with the question that has come in the year 2009. Let's read the question. What is the OH minus ion concentration in the final solution? So whenever we have any substance, put in the parenthesis, right, that represents what? The active mass. This notation represents the active mass and in case of substance in solution, that represents the concentration. For gases, we can take it as the pressure of the gas. So look at this, we have to find what is the concentration of OH minus in the final solution prepared by mixing 20 ml of 0.05 molar HCl and 30 ml of 0.1 molar barium hydroxide. So what happens here, from HCl we are going to get H plus ions, and from barium hydroxide we are going to get OH minus ions. But we can see here every barium hydroxide molecule is going to give us 2 OH minus ions. Now what happens between the H plus and OH minus? There will be a neutralization. So we have to see, since they are asking what is the OH minus ion concentration in the final solution, we will see that the OH minus will be excess, means after neutralization, because every one H plus will be neutralized by one OH minus. After neutralization we will be having extra OH minus. That is why they are asking us what is the OH minus concentration. So here one more thing we have to notice here is that if you are mixing 20 ml of the HCl solution and 30 ml of the barium hydroxide solution, the total final mixture volume will be equal to what? 20 plus 30, it is going to be 50 ml. So when we are calculating the final concentration, right, we have to calculate this with respect to 50 ml volume. Okay, so let's start with first what we will find. We have 20 ml of 0.05 molar HCl. Since volume is in ml, remember if you multiply volume in ml with the molarity, we will get number of millimoles. See, H plus, every HCl is going to give us 1 H plus, right? Means the number of millimoles of HCl will be equal to number of millimoles of H plus, which will be equal to what? 20 into 0.05, that is 1. Now similarly, if you look at the number of millimoles of OH minus, see, number of millimoles of OH minus will be, if you multiply the volume 30 ml into the molarity 0.1, you will get number of millimoles of barium hydroxide, that is 30 into 0.1. So we have to multiply this by 2. Why? Because we have seen every barium hydroxide will give us 2 OH minus ions. So the number of millimoles of OH minus will be what? 30 into 0.1, that is the number of millimoles of barium hydroxide into 2. So that is going to be what? If you just carry on with the multiplication, it will be 6. So number of millimoles of OH minus is 6, number of millimoles of H plus is 1, which is in excess, this is in excess. So we can find out what is the millimoles of OH minus remaining. What will be the remaining? Because neutralization means every 1 millimole of H plus will require 1 millimole of OH minus. So after removing 1 millimole, right, the remaining excess OH minus amount is what? 5 millimoles. And as we discussed, we have to now calculate. If you are calculating concentration, means we have to now calculate with respect to total volume. What is the total volume? Since we are mixing 20 and 30, total volume will be what? 50. So total volume of the solution now is what? 50 ml. So we have to find OH minus concentration, the remaining millimoles of, because remember concentration will be what? Either you use the formula number of moles by volume in liter or number of millimoles by volume in ml. Because so numerator as well as denominator, the milli will come. Okay, so here what is the number of millimoles? 5 is the number of millimoles. And what is the volume in ml? 50 ml. So 5 by 50 will come, which is going to be what? 0.1 molar. So the correct answer for this is option D. It's a rather straight question. In fact, in this model, right, we also have questions like, since we are getting OH minus concentration, they can even ask us what is the pH of the solution, what is the pOH of the solution. Like that also they can extend the questions. Next, this is an important model of question. This is on the gas equilibrium or the equilibrium involving the pressures. The dissociation equilibrium of gas AB2 can be represented as 2 molecules of AB2 are giving 2 molecules of AB and 1 molecule of B2. The degree of dissociation is what? X, and is small in comparison to 1. So straight away they are saying what? X is small in comparison to 1. The expression relating the degree of dissociation X with the equilibrium constant Kp and total pressure P. Okay, so now what we need to find? We have to find the value of X, or we have to express the value of X in terms of what? In terms of Kp and total pressure. See, in all these gas equilibrium, right, we will never have equilibrium constant formula straight away like the way we would have in the normal equilibrium involving concentrations. So let's see, what is the procedure that is followed generally for all these gas equilibrium reactions. So what is the given gas phase reaction with us? AB2 gives rise to 2AB plus B2. See, like the way we do in the normal chemical equilibrium, the equilibrium involving concentrations, here we will start with the original reactant assuming. So let's say this is the reactant pressure initially, and we'll assume that initially there is no product. So PR represents what? The pressure of the reactant. Now they are saying X is the degree of dissociation. Like the way in normal concentration rate, what we'll consider, if C is the initial concentration and X is the degree of dissociation, how much we will consider to be consumed? C into X will be consumed, because X is for 1. If the concentration is C, means we will consume C into X. So the remaining part is going to be what? Original value C minus the consumed amount is Cx. This is the remaining amount. This is the remaining amount of the reactant. So this is the method that we will be following. Okay. Now in the same manner, here also what we will do is we will take this degree of dissociation X parameter. So if initial pressure is PR and degree of dissociation is X, then the pressure that is reduced will be equal to what? PR into X. The reduction in pressure will be equal to what? PR into X. And if you look at the balanced equation given to us, every 2 particles of AB2 will give us what? 2 particles of AB. Means the count is in proportion. So if we reduce the pressure is reduced here by PR into X, the pressure of the product AB will be increased by what? Same amount. But if you look at the other side, right, every 2 molecules of AB2 gives only 1 molecule of B2. Means the pressure increase here will be equal to what? PR into X divided by 2. It will be just half of that. So clear? What are we doing? So the initial pressure is this much. PR is for the initial pressure of the reactant. There is no product pressure. The pressure reduction in the pressure, right, will happen for the reactant, and the products we will see increase in the pressure, and that is given by using what? The degree of dissociation, just like the way we will do the calculation in terms of the equilibrium involving the concentration, same method. But the thing is, while we are doing this, we have to consider what are the stoichiometric parameters, because the pressure changes will happen as per the values of the stoichiometric parameters. Now what we are having in our hand finally, if you look at this, right, what are we having? So I'll just rub this part. So we just rub it off, right? Then we'll be able to work out the steps over here. So what are we having now? The final, or the equilibrium stage rather. So equilibrium stage, I'll just write down the equation here. 2 molecules of AB2 gives rise to 2 molecules of AB plus B2. So what is the final pressure here? PR into 1 minus X. What is the final pressure here? PR into X. What is the final pressure here? PR into X by 2. So the total pressure at equilibrium will be what? Sum of all these values, right? So if we add them, what we are going to get? We can see if we add them, right, then this is PR minus PR into X plus PR into X plus PR into X by 2. So we are basically adding all the, because at the equilibrium there will be reactant as well as the products. So we can see that the total pressure will be equal to what? PR into 1 plus X by 2. So let us keep it as one equation. Now we have to express the relation between the degree of dissociation X, Kp, and total pressure. So if you look at Kp formula, right, what will be Kp formula? Kp will be the pressure of AB to the power 2 into pressure of B2 divided by pressure of AB2, again power 2 will come, because for AB as well as AB2, what is the numerical coefficient? It is 2. For B2 the numerical coefficient is 1. So if you look at this, right, what are we having? So pressure of AB, what is pressure of AB? PR into X, the whole square will come. What is pressure of B2? PR into X by 2 divided by what is pressure of AB2? It will be PR into 1 minus X. Of course, here also the whole square will come. So look at this, we are coming to the final stage of the calculation. So numerator, what will be, we will be having, so we can see that numerator there is a PR square, denominator also there is a PR square. So we can cancel that part. Okay. So the remaining thing will be what, if you observe it, right? So PR into X cube by 2 divided by 1 minus X the whole square. PR into X cube by 2 divided by 1 minus X the whole square. So this is what we have in terms of Kp. But here they are asking us what is the relation between Kp, total pressure, and the degree of dissociation. See here PR is what? The original pressure of the reactant AB2. Already we have a formula in terms of the total pressure and PR. What is it? If you want to have the value of PR, means the 1 plus X by 2 will go to the other side. So just look at this, P into X cube by 1 plus X by 2, 1 minus X the whole square into 2. So X cube by 2, we are putting the 2 in the denominator. So we are substituting what is the value of PR in terms of P and the degree of dissociation. So here if you just look at it, right, so we are clearly saying that the degree of dissociation X is small in comparison to 1, which means what, in the denominator we have 1 plus X by 2, this can be neglected. Also we have 1 minus X, here also X can be neglected, means what, the total value of the denominator, so we can see Kp is equal to what, P into X cube by 2. Denominator 1 plus X by 2 is almost equal to 1. Similarly 1 minus X the whole square is almost equal to 1. So net we are just having the number 2 in the denominator. So we can see 2 times Kp by P will be equal to X cube. Means what? The value of X will be cube root of 2 times Kp by P. So the correct answer is option D. So in the gas phase equilibrium reactions, right, always we have to proceed with a certain amount of the reactant gas pressure initially, and by using that only we will be able to arrive at the total pressure at equilibrium, and the equilibrium constant also will be expressed by using the pressures of these substances at equilibrium, which means what, if you correlate the original pressure of the reactant with equilibrium pressure, then we will be able to obtain the Kp formula in terms of total pressure. But this formula keeps changing depending upon the reaction. So we cannot just have like one single formula to remember. This will keep changing depending upon the given reaction. So we have to be careful in working out these problems. Next we have a question that has come in the year 2008. If the concentration of OH minus ions in the reaction, what is the reaction given to us? FeOH thrice gives rise to Fe3 plus and 3OH minus, is decreased to 1/4 times. Means what? The concentration of OH minus is becoming 1/4 of the original value. Then the equilibrium concentration of Fe3 plus will increase by. So what is this? This is a problem basically if you look at it, right. So for this reaction, what will be the equilibrium constant formula? It will be Fe3 plus concentration into OH minus concentration power 3 divided by FeOH thrice concentration. This is the formula for the equilibrium constant. Of course here we have to be careful about one thing. The Fe3 plus and OH minus, they are in the aqueous state, whereas the ferric hydroxide is the solid. So we will have to take the active mass of the solid to be equal to what? 1. So active mass of solids and pure solvents. So active mass of solids as well as the pure solvents, right, we will consider the values to be equal to what? 1. Okay. So which means what is the K value we are going to have? K will be equal to Fe3 plus concentration into OH minus concentration power 3. That is the value of K. Now what is happening to the OH minus concentration? It is decreased to 1/4. It is decreased to 1/4 of its value. Means at a given temperature condition, the value of equilibrium constant must be what? Same. So which means the product of these two values, which is Fe3 plus concentration into OH minus N concentration, should be what? Same. So if you decrease the OH minus concentration to 1/4 of its value, means what will be the concentration of OH minus here? It will be equal to what? 1/4 of the OH minus original value. Cube is there. And what about the concentration of the Fe3 plus? Here the concentration of Fe3 plus will also get modified accordingly. So here we need to find how much or by how much this is going to be modified. So if we look at this, right, what are we essentially saying? This is going to change by some factor, let's say x times of the Fe3 plus. The value should be equal to same original K value. Means we can see x into the Fe3 plus concentration into, so 1/4 whole cube means what? It will be 1/64 into OH minus concentration cube. So this value and this value are as it is original. Means the x into 1/64 value must be equal to what? 1. So x into 1/64 value must be equal to what? 1. That's when the equilibrium constant will remain the same, which means x should be equal to what? 64. Which means the Fe3 plus will be increased by how many times? It will be increased by 64 times. That's when, we will be able to maintain the equilibrium constant to be same. Clear? So this is a straight question based on how the change in concentration of one of the substance will affect the concentration of the other substance at the equilibrium. Next we have another question based on the pH. Equal volumes of 3 acid solutions. The acid solutions, we can see them assuming we are at the room temperature conditions, all the pH values are what? Less than 7. So equal volumes of 3 acid solutions, pH 3, pH 4, pH 5 are mixed in a vessel. What will be the H plus ion concentration in the mixture? So we need to find what is H plus ion concentration in the mixture. So first of all, if you look at it, right, what is pH? It's a representation of the concentration of H plus. What is the formula? pH is equal to minus log H plus. In other way, H plus concentration will be equal to what? 10 to the power of minus pH. Means in solution 1, what is H plus concentration? 10 to the power minus 3. In solution 2, what is H plus concentration? 10 to the power minus 4. In solution 3, what is H plus concentration? 10 to the power minus 5. They are saying equal volumes. They are not even giving what is the volume. So let's say we consider 1 liter of each. We consider 1 liter of each. So in 1 liter solution, right, since concentration is the 10 to the power minus 3 moles per liter, if we take 1 liter of solution, means what will be the number of moles? 10 to the power minus 3. What will be the number of moles in second solution? 10 to the power minus 4. What is the number of moles in third solution? 10 to the power minus 5. So if you look at the 1 liter solutions, we are mixing them right together. The total H plus amount will be equal to what? 10 to the power minus 3 plus 10 to the power minus 4 plus 10 to the power minus 5. So if we take 10 to the power minus 3 common, means it will be what? 1 plus 1 into 10 to the power minus 1 plus 1 in 10 to the power minus 2. So if you look at it, right, 10 to the power minus 4 can be written as what? 10 to the power minus 3 into 10 to the power minus 1. 10 to the power minus 5 can be written as what? 10 to the power minus 3 into 10 to the power of minus 2, like that. Okay. So now we take the 10 to the power minus 3 common out. So this is what? 1 by 1 plus 1 by 10 plus 1 by 100. So on taking an LCM and then simplifying it, right, what are we having? The H plus number of moles of H plus, right, because we are taking 3 liters, 1 liter each of the solutions. The number of moles of H plus will be equal to what? After taking the LCM, it will be 1.11 into 10 to the power of minus 3. And now this is the number of moles. This is the number of moles, right? We are supposed to find the concentration. So concentration means what? Number of moles of H plus divided by the volume. So here, because we are mixing 1 liter of each, what will be the total volume now? Total volume is going to be 3 liters. So we have to divide this by what? 3. So 1.11 in 10 to the power minus 3, which is the number of moles, divided by 3 will come, which is what? Approximately it will be 3.7 into 10 to the power of minus 4. So if you carry on with the, so this can be written as what? 11.1 into 10 to the power minus 4 by 3. So that it will help us. I'll just rub it off. So what is this? We can write it as what? We can write this as for the division, right? You can write it as what? 11.1 into 10 power minus 4 by 3. And then so 11.1 by 3 is what? Approximately 3.7. So the correct answer is option D. It's a straight question. Okay, all that we are doing is we are finding the H plus from each of the solutions, and then adding the H plus amounts, so that we will get the total number of moles of H plus, and then dividing by the total volume. Next, another question based on the modification of the equilibrium constant. This is also come in the year 2008. The value of equilibrium constant of the reaction. So what is the reaction given to us? HI gives rise to half H2 plus half I2. What is the equilibrium constant value? 8. Then the equilibrium constant of the reaction H2 plus I2 gives rise to 2HI. So we have to find what is the equilibrium constant for the other reaction. What is the other reaction given to us? H2 plus I2 gives rise to 2HI. So if you look at it, right, what we have to do is we just have to write down the equilibrium constant expressions. So first reaction is what? HI gives rise to half H2 plus half I2. So what is the equilibrium constant formula for this? The factor here is half, and here it is 1. So H2 concentration power half into I2 concentration power half divided by HI concentration. This value is given as what? 8 to us. Then the second equation for which we have to find the equilibrium constant. Let's say equilibrium constant is some K dash. So for this, right, this is the equation. So what will be the equilibrium constant K dash value? Here product, what is the numerical coefficient? 2. Both reactants coefficients are 1. So K dash will be equal to what? HI square divided by H2 into I2. If you just compare this, right, so let's call it as expression 2 and expression 1. So if you compare both these expressions, what is the relation we are having? So we'll see that the K dash, right, is nothing but 1 by K square. Because if you take a reciprocal of K and square it, right, we are going to get K dash. Observe this carefully. If you take a reciprocal of K, means what? Just look at, so what will be 1 by K? 1 by K will be what? HI divided by H2 power half into I2 power half. That is 1 by K, right? Now 1 by K square will be what? K dash. 1 by K square will be K dash. So which means since K is 8, what will be K dash? 1 by 8 square, which will be equal to what? 1 by 64. Correct answer is option D. So these questions are pretty straightforward. In fact, if you look at the past year we have been going through a lot of previous year questions, right? We'll see that we do have a lot of years these kind of questions being repeated. Let's go to another question. So this is another question based on the gas phase equilibrium. So whenever we have questions on gas phase equilibrium, right, we have to be double careful about it, because the questions more often will not be as straightforward as you will see in the normal equilibrium in case of concentrations. So look at this question. The values of Kp1 and Kp2 for the reactions. So they are giving us two reactions. First reaction is what? X gives rise to Y plus Z. Second reaction is what? A gives rise to 2B. The Kp1 and Kp2 values are in what ratio? 9:1 ratio. If the degree of dissociation of X and A are equal, so let's say the degree of dissociation value is what? Alpha. Let us take it as what? Alpha. For both of them this is same. Then the total pressure at equilibrium in equation 1 and equation 2 are in the ratio. Means we have to find what is the total pressure at equilibrium ratio of the total pressure at the equilibrium. So first what we will do is we will just write down the reactions. What are the reactions given to us? First reaction is X gives rise to, I am not putting double-headed arrow, we can even put the double arrow. So X gives rise to Y plus Z. This is the equation 1. So normally for all the gas phase reactions, right, this is the method we have to follow. So we will consider Px. Let Px is the initial pressure of X. Okay, and here for both the reactions we are taking the degree of dissociation as what? Same, alpha. Means the pressure that is going to be reduced will be what? Px into alpha. As per the equation we can see every one particle of X gives one particle of Y. Means the pressure increase here will be what? Px into alpha. Every one particle of X gives one particle of Z. Means pressure increase here also will be what? Px into alpha. So what we see is the final equilibrium pressures are going to be what? Px minus Px into alpha, that is for x, Px into alpha, that is for y, Px into alpha, that is for z. So we are just now focusing on the first equilibrium. So here if you look at it, right, what will be the Kp1? Kp1 value will be equal to what? The pressure of y into pressure of z divided by pressure of x. So which is what? Px into alpha divided by pressure of x. What is pressure of x? Px into 1 minus alpha. So we can see this Px is cancelled. So what we are having? Px into alpha square by 1 minus alpha. This is Kp. But here we are not interested in knowing what is the original pressure of x. We are trying to understand the relation in terms of the total pressures at equilibrium. And for every gas phase at equilibrium, right, we can relate the original pressure of the reactant to the equilibrium pressure. That is what you call the total pressure. So let's say the total pressure in the first reaction is P1 at equilibrium, which will be equal to what? The pressure of x, which is Px minus, the pressure of x will be what? Px minus Px into alpha, plus pressure of y, which is Px into alpha, plus pressure of z. So Px into alpha is cancelled. So what we are having is P1 is equal to Px into 1 plus alpha. In other words, we can substitute the Px value is equal to what? P1 by 1 plus alpha. So wherever we have Px value, right? And in fact, I remember telling in one of the previous questions also that the relation between the total pressure and the original pressure of the reactant, right, will depend upon the reaction to reaction. So here Px value will be equal to what? P1 by 1 plus alpha. Now what we'll do is we'll just go and substitute. So Kp1 is equal to what? In place of Px we'll substitute this. So P1 by 1 plus alpha into alpha square by 1 minus alpha. This is what? P1 into alpha square by 1 minus alpha square. So let us keep it as equation 1. So this is the final equation we are getting for the first equilibrium. So what is the equation we have? Kp1 is equal to what? P1 into alpha square by 1 minus alpha square. So how the 1 minus alpha square is coming? Because 1 plus alpha into 1 minus alpha is what? It's like a plus b into a minus b. Now what we'll do is we'll go on to the second reaction. So second reaction is what? So maybe I'll just write it down here, the first expression, so that we'll be able to remember this. So what is the first expression we have derived? Kp1 is equal to what? P1 into alpha square by 1 minus alpha square. Let's keep it because we are going to use this. Now let's come to the second equation. What is second equation? Second equation is A gives rise to 2B. Okay. So here again what we are going to say, let Pa is the initial pressure of A and alpha is the same. For both of them we have the same degree of the dissociation alpha. So the pressure reduced here will be what? Pa into alpha. And we'll see one thing interesting. Every one molecule of A gives how many molecules of B? 2 molecules of B. Means it is going to be what? 2 times of the pressure addition here will be what? 2 times of Pa into alpha. Means the equilibrium pressures are going to be what? Pa minus Pa into alpha. That is the equilibrium pressure for the A. And what is the equilibrium pressure for the B? It will be 2 times of Pa into alpha. This is the equilibrium pressure per B. Now Kp2 value is what? The equilibrium constant for the second. So that is going to be pressure of B power 2 by pressure of A at equilibrium. Why the pressure of B power 2? Because the coefficient here is 2. What is pressure of B? 2 Pa into alpha, that is the pressure of B whole square, divided by pressure of A will be what? Pressure of A will be Pa into 1 minus alpha. I mean, we should have kept it this equilibrium so that there is no confusion. Okay, because already we are using Pa for what? Pa is the original concentration, or sorry, original the pressure of A, that is the Pa symbol we are using. Here in this formula, right, pressure of B at equilibrium power 2 divided by pressure of A at equilibrium. What is the pressure of A at equilibrium? Pressure of A at equilibrium is Pa minus Pa into alpha. We take a Pa common out, means what is it? Pa into 1 minus alpha. So what is this? 4 times Pa square into alpha square by PA into 1 minus alpha. 1 PA is cancelled. What is it? 4 times PA into alpha square by 1 minus alpha. Here also again we don't have the Kp2 in terms of the total pressure. So we have in terms of PA. PA is what? Original pressure of A. So here if you say P2 is the total pressure of the second reaction at equilibrium, that is going to be what? This value plus this value. Means what is it? If you add both of them, right? So PA minus PA into alpha plus 2 times of PA into alpha. So 1 PA into alpha will be cancelled, minus and plus. So what is the total value? P2 is equal to PA into again 1 plus alpha. Means PA value is equal to what? P2 by 1 plus alpha. Same, we can substitute this. PA value is equal to what? P2 by 1 plus alpha. We will substitute this in the Kp formula. So what we are going to get? Kp2 is equal to what? 4 times of, in place of PA what we will substitute? P2 by denominator what is there? Already there is 1 minus alpha, now we will get 1 plus alpha. So totally what is it? 1 minus alpha square. Because here also 1 plus alpha into 1 minus alpha is like what? A plus B into A minus B. So this is our Kp2. So we have Kp1 already and we have Kp2 now. Now what is the given information? The values of Kp1 and Kp2 are in the ratio 9:1. Kp1 and Kp2 are in the ratio 9:1. Then we have to find the ratio of their total pressures. So look at this, what is Kp1? So here we just have to do the Kp1 by Kp2. Kp1 by Kp2 means what? P1 into alpha square by 1 minus alpha square divided by 4 times of P2 into alpha square by 1 minus alpha square. This is equal to what? 9:1. So alpha square is cancelled, 1 minus alpha square, 1 minus alpha square is cancelled. P1 by 4 P2 is equal to 9, which means what? If you want the ratio of the pressures, right? So what do we require here? We require the ratio of the equilibrium pressures, which will be equal to what? Just we will require P1 by P2, means the 4 will go to the other side. So which is going to give us, I'll just write the final answer here. So P1 by P2 is going to be equal to what? 4 times 9 by 1, which is 36 by 1. The correct answer for this is option A. So whenever we have these questions on the gas phase equilibrium, we have to be a little bit more careful in terms of the way we work out. And we have seen that this model of question, right, where we are relating the equilibrium constant to the total pressure or equilibrium constant relations in terms of total pressure and the original pressure, etc., right? These kind of problems, they do take a little bit more time. Next we have a question that has come in the year 2007. A weak acid HA has a Ka value of 1 in 10 power minus 5. If 0.1 mole of this acid is dissolved in 1 liter of water, means they are straight away giving us what is the concentration of the acid. 0.1 mole is dissolved in 1 liter of water, means what is C value? 0.1. The percentage of the acid dissociated at the equilibrium is close to, means we need to find what is the percentage of the acid dissociated. So this is like what? A weak acid dissociation, right? So the dissociation is represented by the degree of dissociation alpha. Percentage means what? 100 into alpha will give us the percentage dissociation. Already we have a ready-made formula for the weak acid degree of dissociation, right? So for an acid like HA, if it is dissociating, so hope you guys remember the formula. So it will be what? A minus and H plus. If C is the concentration and alpha is the degree of dissociation, the amount dissociated is what? C alpha. Here C alpha addition, here C alpha addition. So equilibrium concentrations are what? C into 1 minus alpha for the acid, C alpha for the anion, and C alpha for the H plus. Totally what we will have? The acid dissociation constant Ka will be equal to what? The A minus ion concentration into H plus ion concentration by the acid concentration. Okay. So C is cancelled. What you will have is C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. If it's a weak acid, means alpha will be small in comparison to 1. So we will neglect it. From here what we are going to get? We will get the alpha value. So Ka will be equal to C alpha square. Otherwise alpha will be equal to what? Root of Ka by C. This is for the mono basic acid. Similarly for the mono acidic base, right, we will have analogous formula. What will be the analogous formula? Over there alpha will be equal to root of Kb by C will come. Anyway, so let's just come back to the question. It's a straight formula question. So how are we going to find the percentage dissociation? Let's just find first alpha value. What is alpha value? Root of Ka by C. What is Ka value? 1 into 10 power minus 5. Divide by C is what? Just only we discussed. C will be, if 0.1 mole of the acid is dissolved in 1 liter means, what is the concentration of the acid? 0.1. So we can see that this will be 10 power minus 4. Root 10 power minus 4 is what? 10 power minus 2. So 10 power minus 2 is alpha. And we are looking for the percentage. Percentage means what? We have to multiply this by 100. If you multiply this by 100 means how much we are going to get? Approximately 1. So why are we saying closest to or approximately? Because this formula, right, is already, by considering that alpha is very small in comparison to 1, and hence we are neglecting alpha. In comparison to 1 we are neglecting the alpha value. So that's why we are the Ostwald's dilution law. So this formula is basically from where? The Ostwald's dilution law, right? So that is only valid for weak acids or weak bases. Next we have another question that has come in the 2007 paper. Calculate the pOH value of a solution at 25 degrees centigrade. Means the normal temperature conditions, where if you look at this condition, right, the concentration of H plus into concentration of OH minus will be equal to what? 10 power minus 14. The H plus ion concentration into OH minus ion concentration will be what? 10 to the power of minus 14. So look at this, we have to find the pOH of the solution that contains 1 into 10 power minus 10 molar of hydronium ions. So here they are not talking about the H plus, they are talking about what? Hydronium ions. So why this question is a little bit, not important in that sense, but a little bit different question is, contrary to what we usually think, the H plus ions will not really exist in water. Whatever the H plus that is there in water, right, it will not exist as H plus. It will in fact readily, because H plus is a very unstable particle, it will readily combine with adjacent water molecule to form hydronium ions. So when we say H plus ion concentration, right, what are we actually talking about? We are talking about the hydronium ion concentration, because H plus being a proton cannot have independent existence. So when they say the hydronium ion concentration is 1 into 10 power minus 10, that is nothing but what? That is nothing but the H plus ion concentration. But the only thing that we have to keep in mind is H plus ions will not have independent existence. They will in fact exist only as hydronium ions. So this is the H plus ion concentration. And we know that the product of the two concentrations, H plus into OH minus concentration, is what? 10 power minus 14. So 1 into 10 power minus 10 into OH minus ion concentration is equal to 10 power minus 14. Which means what? The OH minus ion concentration is 10 to the power of minus 4, which means pOH. What is pOH? Minus log of OH minus concentration, minus log of 10 to the power of minus 4. So it will come forward, minus of minus 4 into log 10. What is log 10? 1. So minus into minus plus. So pOH value will be equal to 4. And accordingly pH value will be equal to what? 10. So we are looking for pOH value here. What is the pOH value? It is option A, 4. Next we have another reasoning question. For the reaction methane plus 2 moles of oxygen giving rise to CO2 plus 2H2O liquid. This is nothing but what? Combustion of methane. And one thing that we need to be clear in the combustion reactions is, not only in this question but even in further questions also, whenever we are expressing the combustion reaction, right, always we must express the water to be in the liquid state. The water is going to be formed in the liquid state. But what might happen is, because the combustion reactions are exothermic, here also we can see what is the delta H for the reaction? Minus 170.8 kilojoule per mole. It is exothermic reaction. Because of the heat that is liberated, right, the water will automatically convert itself into the vapor state by absorbing the heat. But as such, in the reaction, we should always write the water to be in the liquid state whenever we are expressing a combustion reaction. Now for this reaction, right, which of the following statements is not true? So we have to find out which is not correct. Look at option A. Option A is saying what? The reaction is exothermic. Just now only we are saying, right, delta H is negative means what? This is exothermic. So option A is correct. Option B is saying what? At equilibrium, the concentrations of CO2 and H2O are not equal. See, look at this now. If we are tracking this equilibrium, the combustion of 1 mole of methane, if we are able to do the complete combustion, Of course, since we're talking about the equilibrium concept, complete combustion never happens. But let's say, for example, if 1 mole of methane is consumed, then 1 mole of CO2 will be formed as per the reaction and 2 moles of water will be formed. So which means the concentrations of CO2 and H2 at equilibrium will not be equal to each other. So this is also correct. Look at option C. The equilibrium constant for the reaction is given by Kp is equal to CO2. Here the parenthesis or bracket indicates what? The active mass. So CO2 active mass divided by CH4 into O2 active mass. See, we consider whenever we are writing the equilibrium constant, right, whether it is a Kp or Kc, we consider the active mass of pure solvent. Here water is a pure solvent. We will consider the active mass of water to be equal to what? 1. But the concentration of CO2 or active mass of CO2, because we are talking about the Kp, here the active mass will be represented by what? Partial pressure. Power 1 will come because the factor here is numerical coefficient is 1 divided by CH4 active mass power 1 into O2 active mass power 2 will come. Why power 2 will be coming? Because we have a numerical coefficient 2. But what they are saying in the statement C, they are saying Kp is equal to active mass of CO2 divided by active mass of CH4 into active mass of O2. This is not correct. The O2 should have a power 2 here. Clear? So this is so we are looking for what? Which of them is not true. So this is the one that is not correct. We can look at option D also. What is option D? Addition of CH4 or O2 at equilibrium will cause a shift to the right. See, if you just know, let's just rewrite the equation. CH4 plus 2O2, of course we'll indicate the phases also. Gas phase gives rise to what? CO2 gas plus 2H2O liquid. This is the given reaction. Addition of CO2 or O2. So if we add CO2, not CO2, addition of CH4. If we add CH4 or O2, what are we doing? We are adding reactants. Now as per the Le-Chatelier principles, right, what happens? If we add reactant, the equilibrium will shift in such a way that the reactant will be consumed. So how it has to shift? It has to shift in the forward direction or towards the right. So this is also correct. Adding reactant will shift the reaction to the right. Removing reactant will shift the reaction to the back. So the one that is incorrect is option C. Next we have a straight question on the composition of buffer. This is the question that has come in the year 2006. Which of the following pairs constitutes a buffer? See, generally when we talk about buffer, right, what are the types of buffers we have? We have acidic buffer. What is an acidic buffer? A weak acid plus salt. What is the salt? Salt of the weak acid with a strong base. Then we have basic buffers. What are basic buffers? It's a weak base plus salt of this weak base with a strong acid. That is basic buffer. Then we have neutral buffers, which are nothing but the salts of weak acids and weak bases. But look at this. So here first option is what? Option A is saying HCl and KCl. HCl and KCl. What is HCl? It's a strong acid. KCl is what? Salt of a strong acid with another strong base KOH. Is this a buffer? We don't have, buffers are not formed by the strong acids or strong bases. Look at option C. Option C is what? NaOH, strong base, not a buffer. Option D is HNO3, strong acid, not a buffer. Option B, HNO2, which is a weak acid, plus NaNO2. What is NaNO2? It's a salt of NaOH and HNO2. It's a salt of the weak acid with a strong base. So which is what? This is the acidic buffer. So the one that is a buffer solution among the given is the option B, and that will be a acidic buffer. So this is about this part, and we'll see in the next part.